Once upon a time in the United States of America, big important business executives lobbied the US government and got subsidies. Yes, railroad tycoons, shipping tycoons, you name it. Government was handing out subsidies like they were Danish hotcakes. Unfortunately, at this period in time, there were businesses that were competing with each other to, let's say, provide transportation for the American public, or whatever. They were in competition. At one point, during their competition, one of them got the bright idea to go to the government and say, "Hey, Mr. G-Man, we need money for this reason. See our company? See how well we're doing? See how much we're trying? Now see how much we've done for the economy. How much more do you think we could do for the economy? If only you, Mr. Government, would give us the ability to make things better. Wow, if you give us money, we can bring in more economic opportunities. We can make things better." And so that's what they did. In order to fund these subsidies, the government had to get the money from somewhere. Where would you guess the government would get the money from? Taxes. Exactly. The government taxes the American people and extracts more of their wealth so that they can give that wealth to the companies that were requesting help. This is a good idea, right? Right? Take taxpayers' money, give it to this company, and this company in turn makes amazing products for the taxpayers and to build up the American economy. Here's something interesting about this. I have a question for all you who are leaning more towards the socialist economic sphere. Who is it exactly that you don't like? Is it corporate executives of big companies? Why not small companies? At what point in your mind does the owner of a small company turn into the business executive? When does that transition happen? At what point are you going to draw the line and say that this person is now going from a small business owner to a corporate executive? When does this transition happen? Is there a magical number? Let me ask another question. Which companies are you against? You can't be against business altogether, because business has gotten us many good things. Business has fertilized human progress, trade, natural selection of technology and ideas. Let me do a little bit of explaining to you here. This is something that I think many people are missing. Subsidies help businesses that receive them. Subsidies appear to be good for the economy because the business receives subsidies and turns that cash into goods. The only problem is that they don't have a steady source of this cash without the subsidies. Where do the subsidies come from? The taxpayer. So, what's happening is that the taxpayer is providing the subsidies for the business in order to help the taxpayer, except that those taxes are not being voluntarily allocated. They are being involuntarily taken and redistributed. What if, as a taxpayer, I did not want to buy a product that the subsidized company is manufacturing? What if I wanted to spend my money on a smaller company, closer to home, somebody I actually know and get along with, perhaps, or perhaps I genuinely believe the product to be better? Why do I have to pay money for the other product, especially if I'm not planning on buying that other product in the first place? You have essentially made me pay for a product, pay for the manufacture of a product that I will not purchase. Essentially, what the government does is they take your money that you have earned through your work and your production of wealth. They take that money and they give a portion of it to the company that produces manufactured goods, or whatever it may be. Now, I have paid for those goods in the form of the taxes that were then redistributed to those companies in the form of subsidies. So I have already, in a sense, paid for those goods. They produce those goods, put them on the market, and in order for me to enjoy them, I have to pay for them again. Why would I want to do that? Wouldn't I just as well have put my money into the business that I thought was giving me the better product anyway? Say the smaller business, the guy that I knew, the guy who manufactures a better product. Do you see what has happened here? You have one business and another business. The government takes my money and subsidizes this business, making it grow larger. Now, which business do you think is going to do better? The one with more money that's larger? Or the one that didn't get the money? This one. And not only is it going to do better, but it might eventually squish this business out of existence or just buy it up. That has limited my consumer choice. The choice that I get as a consumer, as somebody who uses and knows and is familiar with these products, I had made the rational decision in my mind to buy one product, while the government subsidized the manufacturers of another product, one that maybe was not as good. This is socialism. This is what has caused the inequality, the subsidies, the tax breaks, the favors. This is socialist policies speckled into our capitalist economy. That's where the imbalance comes from. It's a socialist cancer, so to speak, invading the capitalist sphere. And because so many people are still under the impression that we are entirely capitalist, they see what has gone wrong, they see the inequality, which is a result of socialism, but because they think it's a result of capitalism, because it's what they've been taught, capitalism is the bad guy. What has happened here? I have come to the realization that socialism is a very well-intentioned system, intending to put everybody on a level playing field and give them all the same opportunities, which is essentially what capitalism tries to do anyway. Socialism, unfortunately, starts people below where they should be. In a sense, it's starting them off underwater, indebted at birth to their government. How is anybody supposed to get ahead when you were born indebted to your government? Socialism does not give everybody an equal opportunity to succeed. It gives everybody an equal opportunity and in fact an equal likelihood to fail. If you succeed in a socialist system, it is either because you got very lucky or you were given government favors or family heirlooms as favors. Another thing I've noticed is the cost of living. When I talk to socialists, they say to me, the cost of living is rising. This is a problem. It is a problem. And indeed, if the cost of living is truly rising, it is a problem. I have noticed for myself the cost of living rising. The socialists are right in this case. However, the cost of manufactured goods is on the decline. This is because the cost of technology, the cost of luxury, or the price of luxury is going down, while the cost of living and necessities like gasoline in today's economy and today's society, and milk and food, those costs are going up. See, we have calculated into the cost of living the cost of necessities and the cost of luxuries. The cost of luxuries are going down, getting more and more affordable, while the cost of necessities are going up. Now, we haven't made a distinction between the two in our cost of living analysis, so it appears as though the general cost of living is going down somewhat because the cost of luxury has come down so much. Because after all, instead of having a computer take up a room, we have it in the size of a cell phone now, for relatively cheap. That's a significant decrease in the cost of living, except that that is not truly the cost of living. That is the cost of luxury. And luxury is not essential to living. I ask again, I ask you who are leaning toward the socialist perspective, who is the bad guy? Who are the bad guys? Is it really the business owners? Or is it those who lobbied the government because they were too incompetent or something to run their own business? The businesses that got bailed out did so because they did not know how to handle their own finances. When we take taxpayer money and bail out people who don't know how to handle their own finances, that is counter-capitalism. Counter-capitalism is government-sanctioned elimination of economic competition. When a government subsidizes one farmer while not subsidizing the farmer next door, the farmer with the subsidies will squash the farmer next door. Those are your corporate executives. Those are your big CEOs. Those are your bad guys. And they are not capitalists. They are counter-capitalists or crony capitalists. There is a difference. In fact, there is such a difference that crony capitalism should not even have capitalism in the name. Counter-capitalism works better because although it still has the word capitalism in the name, it is prefixed with counter, meaning running against. If you start everybody off on equal footing, that is fine. If you start everybody off on equal footing underwater, many of them will drown